we're going to move over from the New Orleans Saints to another team in the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers it's a very vague segue, but you'll get it when we get to it. The never-ending Brett Favre saga continues. Today, it was reported that Brett Favre will show up to Green Bay training camp. He's going to show up. Head coach Mike McCarthy says that Aaron Rodgers is still his starting quarterback. Before I go any farther with this, I want to get your take on this. Who should be the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers come opening Monday?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. So you're going to go with the Aaron Rodgers card?
Mm-hmm. Just the fact that Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers aren't getting along right now.
They're not getting. Well, of course they're not getting along. Brett Favre messed himself up. If you're going to retire, take some time, think about it, and don't make an emotional decision. This is something we've heard all throughout the media and something I've said on this program in the last couple of weeks. Brett Favre messed himself up when he decided that he was going to retire in March. Not a smart move. We kind of figured that he would get the buck. Some of us, including me, got duped. And we thought that this was sincere after, after 16 years, 17 years in the NFL. We have to remember that 1 year he was in Atlanta. Brett Favre was going to call it quits. He had a Super Bowl ring, went to another Super Bowl, and we thought it was over. He was going to sit on the sideline and go by the wayside. The bug bit him, and now he wants to come back. So we know that unless something happens to Aaron Rodgers, Rodgers will be the starting quarterback. Now, here's where Tampa Bay factors in. They are potentially interested in Brett Favre. So are the New York Giants. Neither team... the New York Jets, thank you. The Jets and the Buccaneers are both interested in Favre. However, neither team has been granted permission to speak with Brett Favre. Now, we both know Brett Favre's style. We know how well he plays. What team do you think would give him the best chance, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, or New York, of starting come opening day?
Tampa Bay would be the best option for Brett.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to probably start off in the Jets.
So you think the Green Bay Packers are going to trade him over to the Jets?
Just the fact that the Packers play the Buccaneers later on in the season.
Okay. Now, there might be another motive behind this, and this is me having the vindictive general manager's mindset. If you send Brett Favre to the AFC, you send him to the AFC East of all divisions, you're going to get killed by New England, and also in that division you have Miami. Miami's not going to rebound from 1-15 season this quickly, even if Bill Parcells is the general manager, or team president. You also have, who else is in that division? You have Miami, the Jets, New England, and Buffalo. You have the Buffalo Bills, who are going to be 8-8 at best, which leaves the Jets and New England. The Jets, depending on how well they start the year.
They had some big offseason moves, too.
They have some big offseason moves. They sent Jonathan Vilma to New Orleans, and they've also made some key acquisitions. Names are escaping me right now. But they made some key moves. They pick up Brett Favre. Is going to bolster a quarterback position that's been in flux the last year, with Chad Pennington getting injured and not having a great year last year. So you'll have Brett Favre there. You have a proven starter in place with a decent backup should something happen to Favre, which probably won't happen. Dude's the Iron Man. But do you really take the chance of sending him to another team where he wins the Super Bowl, or do you send him to a Tampa Bay team that right now isn't looking too good? That if they don't get Brett Favre, they have a quarterback that is not getting along with his head coach. You have John Gruden and Chris Sims that are bickering a bit with each other. Sims came out to the media a couple months ago and said that his relationship with his head coach is irreparable, and they still haven't dealt him away. Should Green Bay send him to Tampa, even though they're going to play each other only once this year, or should they send him to the equivalent to NFL purgatory and send him to New York? Which move would make better sense from the Packers standpoint?
The Jets, just because they played the Buccaneers later on.
Okay. And we do have a phone call. Let's go to line 1. Caller, welcome to 124 East Main. You're on the air.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead. Turn down your turn down your TV a little bit.
All right. I got a question for y'all.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, are the Saints going to the Super Bowl this year?
Yes.
You know what? The NFC, looking as weak as it is, I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't like doing it this early before the preseason, but I'll go ahead and say it. Saints will get to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody else believes in the Saints.
Yeah, I'm a long-suffering Saints fan. I've been there through thick and thin. I'm old enough to remember the Diddley Poo speech. I've been there. I've seen the ups and downs. I think this team is strong enough this year with the offseason acquisitions they made, picking up Jonathan Vilma and Jeremy Shockey, while still keeping the core of last year's team. I think the Saints are good enough to make it to the Super Bowl. The question is, what Saints team is going to show up? Will we see the team that went 10-6 into the NFC Championship 2 years ago, or are we going to see the team that sputtered in the early part of last year and wound up finishing 7-9? It all depends. How well they start out of the gate will determine how well they do. The one thing I need to see the Saints prove, though, early on is that their secondary has stepped up. The secondary has been old, has been slow, and has been beat up the last couple of years. That's been their Achilles heel. Hopefully they can do some building and get some new cornerbacks, some younger cornerbacks in the secondary, and if they can do it, the defense will be much better off, and the team will be much better off for it.
Yeah, that's a good point. What do you think they should do with Reggie Bush?
Keep him. He's a.
Well, you think it should be a running back or a slot back or a slot receiver?
He should be a slot receiver. Until Reggie can figure out that he can't juke every NFL defensive lineman or linebacker out of his pants, the Saints are going to have to keep him in that slot position. Reggie's going to have to learn how to go up the middle. I don't think he's big enough to be an every down back just yet. But if you use him as a third down, fourth down back for short yardage, trying to get him up the middle, or if you're playing a very weak defense where you can go around and run over people, then you can put him in that running back position. But for the time being, let him take receptions out of the backfield and he should be good. He's got enough speed. He just has to learn how to play the NFL game and get out of that college mindset.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, thank you, man. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Somebody else supporting the Saints.
Thank you. Thanks for calling. We appreciate it.
All right.
All right, good night.
Good one.
And there's the first call. And again, you heard it here first. Saints Super Bowl.